Hey y'all, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about TTCing, and so this is going to be my very first video about it. And I decided to just go ahead and just talk about it on here because it's like if you are TTCing, then it's like it's way easier to talk to people that are versus people that really aren't, because it's like, I'm not gonna say they just don't get it, but I don't know, they don't get it. And so I guess it is safe to say that they just don't get it. And so I recently had surgery, and let me go ahead and try and say it, laparoscopic surgery. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and insert in the video because I think I said it wrong. But anyways, okay, background story. Me and my husband, we just got married in December. And so in November, prior to that, the year before, we had been together 3 years before we got married. And so I had been on the Depo-Provera shot. And so my doctor back then had pretty much informed me that, well, if you want to eventually have kids, you probably need to just go ahead and stop now, and then like get on the pills or something that way, or give it time to get out your system. Just don't be on anything. And so at that point I went ahead and did it. We weren't actually like trying to conceive. It was more like if it happened, it happened. And it was almost kind of great it didn't happen, because like last year was kind of like a rough patch for us. Like, we had some things that went on, and it just probably would have never been the best time to basically conceive. So now that it has been so long since then, and I've been off of it, and we've never been trying, but it just never happened either, then that's when the sparks raise up in your head, and then you're thinking like, well, what's wrong? Like, am I not normal and stuff? And so when I went to my doctor now, my current OB, he's he's actually so great. Like, I absolutely love him, because he's like, most doctors, you go in the office and then like you go in there, they come in the room, they see you, and then like they rush you out, like they're out, like in and out like lightning flash. They don't ask you anything. Like they barely, they pretty much put everything off on their nurse, and they barely stay there with you. But he actually, he'll sit you down in his office, he'll talk to you, ask you about any questions, any concerns that you have. So I actually like that about him. And so when I went in there, and then for just a regular checkup, and he asked about, like, if you're gonna have kids, do you want them, and why you haven't had them yet, because you're 25. And I was like, well, we haven't really been trying, like talking about, but now that we're stable enough and we're married and everything, we do want to. And so for some months, he told me how to track and everything, doing the OPKs and stuff like that. And me going in, I'm like, oh my God, people do all of this. Like, I didn't think it was that hard. But then, like, I can't say I didn't think it was that hard, because silently, like, in my mind, I always figured, I was like, am I cursing myself by like waiting? Because it's like, I have noticed, like, through some people that I know, when you plan things, like when you plan, like when you try to plan everything in your life, like, it don't always go as planned. And I was like, am I going to be one of those people where we're trying to plan it, trying to do the right thing by maybe not getting pregnant 16 years ago or something like that, and then now that I'm grown and everything, like, it won't happen. And so anyways, long story short, so after a few months, he went ahead and he did a pelvic exam. And then when he did the pelvic exam, he started like pushing like down by my stomach. I was like, oh my God, like, it hurts. So that caused him to go ahead and do the actual ultrasound. And when he did an ultrasound of of my abdomen or whatever, trying to look at my ovaries and all that, and my tubes and everything, he noticed that there was a mass on it. So the mass was like the size of a tennis ball on my right ovary. And then, your ovary should only be like the size of a grape or something, he told me. And so that was like, oh my. And so he's like, well, this could be an issue. This could be possibly why you're not, conceiving like, you know, you probably should be. You should have, you know, thus far. And so he said, you know, he was gonna have to go in and, you know, I was gonna have to have surgery, and that it's probably better to do it quicker than later. Because I haven't had any pain there, like, we don't know how long it's been there. Like, I mean, he said it could have been there forever, or it could have just came or whatever. So he gave it like 30 days to see if it would disappear, because he said sometimes they like appear during your cycle, and then they you know, and then they might go away on its own. So he gave it about 30 days, and it didn't go anywhere. And so he said he was going to go ahead and schedule the surgery, and he decided that when he did it, he wanted to just go ahead and do a bikini cut, because that way it'll give him the full view, and if anything else was in there that wasn't supposed to be in there, then he can go ahead and take it out now, versus, you know, doing this surgery and then, like, you know, having to do another one. And so that was okay with me. The only thing is it just put me out of work for 6 weeks, but, you know, thankfully I have a job where I'm able to still get my full paycheck while I'm out. And so it actually ended up working out. And so the day of the surgery, it was quite awkward, because, you know, it's my first surgery. So I was like, I didn't really have a big issue with this surgery part. My only issue was, even though, you know, he gave me the risk of it, and he's like, worst case scenario, I have to take your right ovary out, depending on what else is in there. If it's affecting your left ovary, I also might have to take that out. And so no ovaries on both sides means, you know, you won't be able to have kids, which for me, like, you know, me and my husband talked about it, and that wasn't the worst part for me. Like, it wasn't the worst part, because although, you know, yeah, as a woman, you want to have kids, you want to be able to experience, you know, pregnancy and everything. But after reading these TTC forums and stuff, and seeing what everybody go through, it's like I don't have the, I don't know how to say, like, I don't know if I have the heart for it, you know, to just go through so many different avenues of just, you know, trying to actually have a kid, you know, carry naturally. So for us, we just went ahead and discussed it. And it's like, you know, worst case scenario, if it happens, that's fine. Adoption for us is the same. I might miss the birthing experience and everything, but it's okay. You know, it's like, it's okay. Like, I'll survive that part if, you know, I'm not able to have a kid on my own, because I know that, you know, things just happen. And sometimes the worst things that can happen to good people. Like, you know, just bad things happen to good people sometimes, you know, or just people that you see are not deserving of it. Because I know I didn't see a lot of couples, you know, who struggle with TTC, and it's like, man, like, they have everything, you know, the perfect family, like the perfect, you know, careers, you know, they have a stable home, they're financially stable and everything, and they're not able to have kids. So it's like, so it's not the worst thing in the world, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's just a path that I have to travel, then it is what it is, because, you know, I'm human, and, you know, and so for me, you know, it wasn't like the absolute worst thing that, you know, that can possibly happen from it. My issue with the surgery was how much pain I'm gonna be in when it's over, because if I could avoid pain at all costs, I would do it, because I'm absolutely not a pain person. And so going into the surgery, everything went fine. It actually took he said about an hour and a half or so, and it went by fine. When he went in, he actually found a smaller one on my left ovary as well, but he was able to save both of them, so he didn't have to take anything out. So, you know, it kind of still have equal opportunity or whatever as far as the TTCing go. And after surgery, that very first day, I felt 100% horrible. I had just got over a respiratory infection like about a week prior to that, and so I kind of still felt like I had some gunk up in there or whatever. And so when I would cough, like, it just hurt me to my soul to cough, because like my rib cage, everything was just, it was sore. Everything just felt so sore. And so when I would like I said, I would cough and it would just feel horrible. But and then it gave me this little device to use, you know, like the little breathing exercise device where you inhale and stuff and a little ball comes up and everything. That makes you cough, and that's the purpose of it. They want you to cough to make sure you don't have anything in your lungs, and you know, nothing is actually, you know, stuck in there. Like they want everything to come up. And so that was the worst part for me. Like that was the beginning of the worst part. And then 2 days later, still in the hospital, was expecting to go home, but not able to have a bowel movement. And so they didn't want me to go anywhere until that happens, because, you know, having abdomen surgery and stuff, it could do something and mess up your bowels, you know, what they explained to me. And so that, you know, that for me was another issue, because I absolutely hated being in the hospital. I knew my husband was exhausted because he was in there, you know, like a champ, and he slept on the couch and everything in there, that hard couch. Like it just looked hard. Like my back hurted for him, and you know, it was uncomfortable. I couldn't lay on my side. I could, you know, I was sore, I was aggravated, agitated, I didn't have an appetite, and it was just horrible. And then coming home, you know, was worse, because I felt so bad. Like I'm not a dependent person at all, and I felt so bad for my husband. Like it makes me want to cry thinking about it, because I mean, it didn't bother him, but it bothered me so bad, and it makes me like want to cry thinking about it, because like he really, you know, like I don't know, I had the best husband in the world, because he did everything for me. And so like I never been that way, you know, I never been in that position to where I had to depend on somebody for everything. And when I say everything, it was like even something as simple as going to the bathroom and wiping my own self. Like I wasn't able to just reach and do it. And so he did that for me. You know, he did everything for me. He had to help me out of bed in the middle of the night when I had to get up. Like I couldn't help myself up, because, you know, you can't strain, because you use basically your stomach, your hips for like everything. And so to get up, you know, just to pull myself up was a challenge, and I couldn't do that without straining against my incision. And so that was another hard part for me, because I just felt like I was just bothering everybody, you know. And I know, you know, he's like, hey, you know, you're my wife, like I'm supposed to do this for you, you know, I love you and everything. And I'm like, I understand, but it just for me, I just didn't like, you know, I didn't like that. Now, you know, that was just the worst part for me. Now I'm more mobile and everything. It's been 2 weeks, well, 16 days, and so I'm still, you know, recovering or whatever. I still have another month left to go. My incision, they actually use surgical glue, and that was so funny to me, because I was like glue, like I'm glued back together. Like I had to Google it, because I was like, oh my god, I didn't know I could, you know, there's surgical glue. They can, just for the most part, everything worked out fine. And I go back in like another month, you know, after the 6 weeks is over with, for him to check everything out, and then we'll just go ahead and continue doing whatever happens, you know. And should I do it, should I not? I'm talking to my husband about it. He's like, babe, like if you just want to share, then share. And so he's like, what do you think about the family part of it? And I'm like, well, I mean, that part of it, I don't really care, because like I don't discuss things with my family, like talking about maybe my mom and my dad, but like I don't really tell anything to like my siblings and stuff, because it's, you know, maybe my parents, because you know, I can tell them anything. I don't expect certain people in my life to understand like what we feel at the moment or anything. I don't expect them to, only because they haven't experienced it. So it's kind of like, it ain't just me and him anymore. It's kind of, you know, once I go ahead and press upload, it's kind of the whole world will know, you know. But I'm okay with that, you know. There are people that went through way more than me. So that's why I said, if I had to face the worst thing of my life of not having kids, like that's not the worst for me, because, you know, I have to be grateful for what I have. I mean, I have 2 arms, I have 2 legs. I mean, you know, I'm not hungry, I'm not starving. I'm able to, you know, work and everything. So for me, it's not the worst. And that's something else that, you know, that bugs me with certain people, and why I don't say anything to them. Because like when you say something, it's like the first thing that I guess they assume is the worst that comes to their mind is, oh my god, you won't be able to have kids. And it's like, well, okay, like I kind of know that's the worst thing that can happen, but it's like, is that the first thing you have to say? And I'm okay with that part. Like, and so when you talk to people that only have that mindset and that's all they can think of and that's all they can say first and not go past anything else, it's kind of like, I'm like, it's pointless to me. It's just pointless to me. And so that's why I don't feel like no one besides me will understand, and you know, people that's going through the same thing as me. I guess that's all I wanted to say at the moment, you guys. I mean, I will keep you posted on, you know, what happens you know, after my 6 weeks and everything, and you know, what we decide to do next and everything, and you know, whatever happens. I mean, you know, we have our faith in it. We're okay with it. Me and my husband are okay with everything, and then you know, we learn to be patient, and that's all we have. You know, all we have is our patience. And so, you know, baby dust to all of you guys who are actually TTCing at the moment. Hopefully I'll be back and I won't be discouraged about doing these. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.